All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily West, and I am the Digital Services Librarian here at the Rochester Hills Public Library. Today, we are going to be talking about the language learning app that we have through the library called Pronunciator. Now, this is a service that you can access on your computer at home. You can download it onto an app onto your phone or your tablet. This is something that you can do from anywhere at any time. Now, I am going to be making some comparisons from this service to other language learning apps you might be familiar with, such as Duolingo or Rosetta Stone or other Babbel. Those are also other popular language learning apps. I'm going to show you the differences and the similarities between them. So if you are looking to learn a new language this summer, this is the place to be. This is an app that is free to you through the library because you have a library card with us. So when you go to sign up for it, you are going to go to the library's website and click on the link. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. So one of the greatest features of Pronunciator and Bluebird, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, is that it has a wide variety of languages to learn from. So unlike some services such as Duolingo only has about 40 different languages to choose from. Pronunciator/Bluebird has over 300. I'm going to do a quick tell you the difference between Pronunciator and Bluebird. Bluebird is the app that you download onto your phone. Pronunciator is the website that you go onto on your computer. Same company, same service. One's used on your desktop, one's used on your phone or your tablet. So another good thing about this app is that you can start at it from any level. So whether you are brand new to a language such as Mandarin or Spanish, you can start from the very beginning. Or if you already have a solid grasp of the language, you can advance to a higher level. All right. So in order to sign up with your library card, In order to sign up with the library card, you're going to go to the library's website. So I'm going to exit out of the presentation and show you where to go. So when you go to the library's website at rhpl.org, you're going to go to the Collections tab. Then you are going to click under Digital Collections, you're going to click on E-Courses and Learning. And it will take you to the bottom of this page, and you're just going to scroll down a little bit until you reach Pronunciator and Bluebird. So you can click on the Access Pronunciator when you're on the website. I would recommend, if you are going to download this app onto your phone or your tablet, I would sign up for the account by clicking Access Bluebird before you download the app. When you're through the library's website, one more thing that's very important before you click on Access Pronunciator or Bluebird. Make sure you're signed into the library's website first with your library card number and PIN. When you do that, you are telling Pronunciator that you are a patron through the library and you are permitted access to this service. Correct. Once you download it, I'm going to repeat the question because this microphone doesn't pick up from the audience very well. Once you download it onto your phone, I would sign up, click on the link through the website first, sign up for the account, then download the app and sign into your app with those credentials. That makes it easier. That tells Bluebird that you have access to it through the library. And once you have it there forever. Correct. What you're downloading is Bluebird. So if you have an iPhone, you're going to download it through the App Store. If you have an Android device, you're going to download it through the Google Play Store. Correct, generally speaking. You can access Bluebird through you can access Bluebird through online, but it's the format, the setup is easier on a mobile device. So once you click on Access Pronunciator, this is the screen that you are going to see. So as you can see on the top, it says Rochester Hills Public Library. Pronunciator knows that you're accessing it through the library. And then all you're going to need to do next is you are going to click on Register. That's the next slide. Yes. Once you click on the blue Register button, also if you already have an account, then this is what you would use to sign in. Just the student name and the password. The entry code is not you don't need an entry code. After you create an account and you want to go back here, this is how you would sign in. But since you're a new user, you'd click on the blue Register button. So that's a great question. Once you register, in the future, you would simply go to pronunciator.com and log in with your credentials. You don't have to go back through the library and click on the link. You would just go to the web page and sign in. Yes. And then your next step is to create an email address and a password and click Continue. And after this comes the fun part. So there are 315 languages across the globe for you to choose from. So I'm assuming most of you are fluent in English. You would select I speak English and then select I want to learn a different language. If you if you have it the other way around where your native language is something else and you want to practice your English, or your native language is something else and you want to practice something other than English, the possibilities are endless for what combination you can do. You can match up any language that you already know with pretty much any language that you want to learn. So there are thousands of combinations for you to choose from. So like I said about Bluebird versus Pronunciator, access it through the library. It's better suited for being online on your computer, and then best use it on your PC or laptop. And then Bluebird, we're going to talk a little bit about today, but we're mostly going to focus on Pronunciator. It's got many of the same features as the web version on your laptop. It's got a few bonus features, such as being able to listen to, I think they're like little podcasts or little videos. There are some things that are specific to Bluebird, but the cross-compatibility there, you'd be learning the same things. Bluebird's the web version. Yeah, we already covered this. Finding the app okay. All right, the next thing I'm going to show you is what Pronunciator looks like once you've chosen a language. So I'm fluent in English, and my target language that I want to learn is Italian. So I'm going to show you what the page looks like. So after you select what language you want to learn, another good thing about Pronunciator that I like is that you have endless numbers of courses that you can learn. So you can learn many different languages all at the same time. I don't think that there's a limit, and besides, there's 315 to choose from, so you can learn as many as you want at any one time. As you can see, I've got three different things right here: personalized courses, main course, learning guides, and more. I'm going to show you the difference between each of these three things. So first one I'm going to go to is the learning guides and more. If you are familiar with using an app like Babbel or Duolingo or other popular language learning apps, Rosetta Stone is another one, you'll notice that those apps are very structured. You have one path that you're taking. You're starting with the absolute basics and you're getting more advanced as you go on. One of Pronunciator's greatest strengths, and it can also be a drawback depending on how you look at it, is that is a lot less structured. You can start from anywhere at any point and learn completely customized to what you want to learn, not what the set curriculum is, such as Duolingo. Duolingo has a set curriculum. Pronunciator, you create your own. You can learn whatever you want at any pace that you want. So but if you are looking for something with more structure and you look at Pronunciator and you go, oh my goodness, I don't know where to start, my recommendation would be to start with learning guides, which is what I'm going to show you first. I'm going to go to actually personalized courses, this one right here. And you're going to scroll down. And at the very bottom this is where I would recommend most people start, is with the learning guides because of its structure. So I'm going to click on this. And kind of like a formal school class or a class in university, it's like I said, very highly structured, and you go through the vocabulary and the grammar for the language step by step. So you would start, for example, with, if you are brand new to a language, you would start with beginner course 1, and then you'd go all the way up to advanced course. If you're wondering how long it takes you to go through each course, it totally depends on how fast you want to do it. I think the structure is 8 weeks. Don't quote me on that, but you could stretch it out farther than just 2 months, or you could go through it much quicker. It's totally up to you. Do you want me to go back to? You're welcome. A lot of people start with the main course. That's another one to start with. It will take you through all of the vocabulary, all of the grammar. It's another way. It's a little less structured than the learning guides, but the main course is another popular place to start. Speaking of less structure and more personalization, the most personalized part of Pronunciator is definitely the personalized courses. The personalized courses allows you to pick and choose exactly what parts of the language you want to learn. So let me show you. You click on this one. So once you click on that, you're going to select all of the topics that interest you, or select your occupation. This is great if you are learning a language because of work. So say that you work with a company that has a lot of German clients and you want to learn specific business German terms so that you can communicate with your clients. Then you could select your occupation, or specifically select which topics within that business you want to do. Or if you want to do travel, say you want to travel to Japan and you want to learn Japanese, you would select things like how to order at a restaurant, how to navigate a train station, how to order something at a store, specific travel related things. Or if, yes, what's your question? Correct. Yes. Yes, you could do that too. Yes, you could definitely do that too. It totally depends on, yes, correct. With the personalized courses, then you have a lot more topics to be able to choose from. So I'm going to show you. As you can see, there are dozens and dozens of different topics: weather, vehicles, counting, time, music. You would, besides just learning the basics of the Italian language, for example, you could also learn a bunch of words from a specific vocabulary group, such as learning different kinds of animals. So my recommendation for my recommendation is, if you are learning this language casually and you want to do the structured learning guides, for example, but you also want some extra vocabulary on top of that based on your hobbies or interests, I would do both a learning guide course and select the specific topics that you want to learn. If you only select all of the topics that interest you, you're not necessarily going to learn the basics of Italian, such as, for example, if you only learn business, colors, health, and industry, you're not, for example, going to learn how to say hello, or I'm sorry, or thank you very much, or could you show me where the bathroom is? These topics are heavily focused on vocabulary and not so much focused on grammar. So like I said, my recommendation would be to have a foundational course to show you what the Italian, for example, grammar is, on top of having extra side vocabulary on this section right here. Oh, learn, test, and certify. So if you might be familiar with the different levels of language learning. So language learning ranges from A1 all the way to C2. So A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So that ranges from very beginner to very advanced. Learn, test, and certify. If you, for example, you need to learn a language for your work, or you need to learn a language because you are moving overseas, and you need to certify that you know how to learn a language, or you know how to speak a language and you're fluent in it. This is a learning test and certify. I'm going to give a really brief warning about that, though. I don't know if this certification through Pronunciator is necessarily going to be accepted to a company or a country overseas, because chances are the company overseas has never heard of this certification. So I would take it with a grain of salt. You could say like, hey, this language learning service says that I'm at a C1 level of Japanese. The Japanese company might or might not take it. So like I said, do it with a little bit of caution. It might not, the other country might not accept this certification. But it is a good way for you to see where you are on your progress level. You can certify for hundreds, as you can see, hundreds of broad subjects and 90,000 specific topics. So this is going to test you on your knowledge of the language's grammar and vocabulary for specific groups. Like, for example, what I was talking about with the personalized courses and all of those topics, it might test you in musical terms. It might test you in historical terms or scientific terms. It can also, within that, you can say that you are a nurse and you want to test your knowledge of a language such as Spanish in testing your knowledge of Spanish medical terms when you're speaking to patients, for example. This, along with personalized courses, will be able to help you with that. There it is, Grammar Compendium. Grammar Compendium, as you can see, is a long list of numerous topics within grammar. So showing you how to conjugate different verbs, or how to put a sentence together in the language, or learning the difference between masculine and feminine nouns, because English doesn't have that, but Italian and German and French, for example, do. So this is this is a really helpful tool if you are really stuck on grammar. I, for example, am really pretty decent at vocabulary, but I often struggle with languages grammar, because the syntax, which means the order of the words in English, is often significantly different from Italian or German, for example, and even more different from languages such as Japanese, Korean, or Hindi, because those are two very different language families. So this is a great way for you to brush up on this language's grammar in case you're getting stuck. The translation tool over here, you can put English on one side and Italian on the other, or vice versa. So that if you have, it looks like there is a 400 character limit. So we're talking about sentences and paragraphs, not giant documents. If you're confused about what a certain sentence or what a paragraph means, you can copy and paste it into this box and it will translate it for you. This is a pretty accurate translation tool, but as with all translation tools, always take it with a little grain of salt. For example, Google Translate is known for being quite off when it comes to translation. It's decent, but there are times where it's totally off the mark. This, on the other hand, is relatively accurate, but it's not correct 100% of the time because this is more or less a robot translating the tool and not necessarily something like a real person translating it for you. You can also hear it said out loud if you want to hear how a sentence sounds as it's being translated. So if I put in Io sono Emily, which means my name is Emily in Italian. Oops, I just did it the wrong way. Let's do, it should say on the other side. The phrase Io sono Emily is already in Italian because I put it in the wrong box. In English, it translates to I am Emily or my name is Emily. So as you can see on this translation tool, it's more, like I said, it's like a robot, kind of like AI if you're familiar with the term artificial intelligence. It's a translation tool that sounds like a real person saying it, not just like a word-for-word translation. We're almost done for the day. I'm going to show you just a couple more things. It would be a computerized voice saying it. Correct. So it's, I'm not exactly sure of all the nitty-gritty logistics of it, but it'd be a computerized reading out loud of what it sounds like in Italian or in English. And then daily lessons. These are bite-sized little ways for you to practice every day in small chunks. So if some of you are familiar with using the app Duolingo, the Duolingo, for example, has lessons that you can complete every day, and it encourages you to practice it every day through bite-sized chunks. It's kind of similar to this with a little bit less structure, but you can choose, after you click on daily lessons, you can choose your beginner, intermediate, or advanced level. And then automatic lessons. Create lessons with quizzes on any topic you like. So learn new phrases about the following subject or scenario. So this is another potentially AI generated. This is another tool where you can customize it even more by telling Pronunciator, I've learned about X, Y, and Z. I want you to quiz me on what I already know about the topic, such as, let's, for example, put in the topic fruits. So I click create. It's going to take a second, but it's going to compile a lesson or a quiz on the topic that you just gave it. Looks like it's taking its sweet time. In the meantime, let's look at the last couple things. Oh, chat. This is one of the last things we're going to talk about today. This is another computerized chat interface. It's not like you're chatting with a real person. This is one of the drawbacks of Pronunciator, is that there aren't actually any opportunities for you to speak with real people. This is an online learning platform, so you're not speaking with fluent Italian speakers, for example. You're talking with the computer, which has its drawbacks because computers can make mistakes, and computers are not fluent in Italian, but this is a replacement for chatting with a real person that's fluent in the language. And as you can see, it can correct your Italian if you like. So if you make a mistake in your spelling or you make a mistake in your conjugation, for example, or your syntax, then the chat feature will tell you. So this is a great way to practice writing the sentences. Also, this microphone right here, you can speak the sentence out loud and then it will write it out for you. Let's see if it finished creating that quiz. So if you click on chat, if you click on this blue microphone right here, yep, that blue microphone is how you can say it out loud. So if you go back, it looks like it created the lesson finally. So Italian language lesson, fruits. Welcome to Automagic lesson, Italian language lesson, fruits. Let's do written lesson. Oh, so la mela è rosa. So the apple is red. So as you can see, it recognized that you want to learn fruits in Italian, and so it started creating different sentences based on what you told it. What's your question? Yes. 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 So the question was, would you be able to hear it? Yes. If it should be like a speaker looking icon maybe? I would, yeah. Sure. Yeah. So the question was if we'd be able to hear what it sounds like when you have it said out loud. So let's go back to translation. And I'm going to do from English to Italian. So the English phrase is going to be, I have 2 dogs. I can't spell. 2 dogs. Then I'm going to click on translate. Looks like that wasn't working super well. Let's do, okay. Ciao. Io sono Emily. And then I'm going to click submit. And then I'm going to, oh wait, okay. Come posso tuttare? I don't know what that means. I haven't learned that yet. Okay, let me try. I'm trying to find a best way for you to, okay, female. Ciao. I'm not quite sure how the, oh, it looks like it did play, but I'm sorry, it looks like the audio didn't play. I think that's a technical error. I wish I could tell you how it sounded, but it didn't play. I'm sorry, I'd have to mess with the laptop a little bit to see why it didn't play. But wait, let's go back up here. Right over here? So I had it set as female voice. It was set as no voice, or you could put it as male. So, yeah. So if you play with it around at home, then you'll be able to hear it. I'd have to connect this to the audio for me to play it out loud, which would take some more fiddling. But yes, yes. Do I have any other questions before we wrap up today? All right. Thank you so much, guys, for coming to my program today. Happy language learning. I'd love to hear what languages you'd like to be learning on this app through the library. Yep. They actually have American Sign Language on Pronunciator. Yep. We do have ASL on here. I've never messed with it. I've seen it as one of the options. I've never tried the course, so I know it would. I don't know how it would work with you doing the signs like "Hi, my name is Emily," but I'm not sure how it would judge how well you sign. It would be taking you through the different signs and the different syntax, but I'd be curious. Maybe you have to put your video on, and so you can see, so we can see your signs. Yep, it does have ASL. Any other questions? All right, we just wrapped up for the day. All right, have a good one, guys. Thank you for coming.